We have President of Empower Oversight, Tristan Levitt, joining us here. And Tristan, you've been on this broadcast many times. But before we get to the new lawsuit that we have filed, I kind of want you to remind people where we are, where we came from, and who Marcus Allen is. How did this all get going? Because we have a lot of new people watching right now, even since the last time you've been on. A lot of people excited because they're hearing talk of these whistleblowers. You know, it's becoming, like we said, mainstream news, if you will. So let's give a little bit of a history, a little bit of background first.
Sure. So Marcus Allen was an FBI intelligence analyst who worked in Charlotte, North Carolina. In the year 2021, after January 6th, as he saw Director Wray, giving representations to Congress about what the FBI knew and didn't know about undercover sources that were present at the Capitol on January 6th. He was, vocal with his leadership about saying, hey, it seems like Wray is not, what he's sharing isn't consistent with all the things that we know. And that really led to him being railroaded. He blew the whistle. He sent an email to his leadership. And again, by blew the whistle, I mean, he just made that comment his chain of command over email. And thereafter, everything changed. That he'd gone from being employee of the year there to then being pushed out of the agency and having his security clearance suspended. So he was one of many people who the FBI's security division, which handles security clearances, really mistreated by taking all these ways just because he was politically conservative and using that against him in a security clearance context. So most of the world first saw him in May of 2023. He testified along with Garrett O'Boyle, with Steve Friend, and myself in front of the weaponization subcommittee. And then after ultimately we were able to get his security clearance reinstated and to get back pay for all the time that he was, just boxed, not able to work, not able to go elsewhere. He was still waiting on the FBI to consider how, the whistleblower complaint he'd made could possibly make him a security threat, quote unquote. And after he had that reinstated last fall, he testified again before Congress because the Inspector General for DOJ also found that he was retaliated against.
And Tristan, we fought alongside Empower here at the ACLJ to ensure justice for Marcus Allen, to get that clearance reinstated, the back pay, those things that you mentioned. And really, it also was able to shine a light on the politicization under the Biden administration of the FBI. But we are not done seeking truth here. While we've gotten justice for him, part of Empower's mission is to protect future whistleblowers and to ensure that the proper whistleblower disclosures and protections that are in law, and even some that need to be added, I know you advocate for as well, ensure that those work properly. So we filed a lawsuit on Empower's behalf related to some FOIA requests that Empower Oversight had placed to the government about Marcus Allen. But could you give us a little bit of an overview of what we're targeting in this lawsuit and what we hope to discover through this lawsuit?
Absolutely. So when we first came forward with Marcus Allen, for instance, when we testified at that first weaponization hearing, it was just all about the problems that he could see from the ground level. And what happened was that when his security clearance was finally reinstated, it kind of opened a floodgate, and we started to have whistleblowers from within the security division. So the office that had been really unfairly targeting Marcus, there were people inside of that office, it turns out, that were saying, we don't think this is right. And so one of them, who we have come to represent, identified that, when she reviewed Marcus's file, it was clear to her that he was not a threat, that he should have been protected for blowing the whistle. And so we know that there were communications within the security division about these things. And it's significant now because as you see a change in leadership at the FBI, an incoming director is going to have to try and figure out, how can I set things right? Maybe it involves just changing the head of the security division, but what other processes are necessary to make sure you don't have a fiasco like this again? So that lawsuit targets specifically the reinstatement recommendation that was submitted within the FBI, because we know that there was one, there had to be for him to have gotten his clearance back. But we think that reinstatement recommendation was even more broad than what the FBI ultimately did. And we think that having that along with some of these other communications will help to illustrate where the key problems are in the security division process and what a new incoming leader would need to do to totally overhaul this to make sure that people don't get railroaded like this in the future.
I wanted to bring that up, Tristan. Obviously, you talked about new leadership. We've seen Kash Patel's confirmation hearings happening. Whistleblowers came up very directly with Senator Grassley. The conversation's kind of happening right now. What would the impact be in a change of leadership in this way? When you have this lawsuit happening right now, what would the impact be on the lawsuit? And then for those who are searching for whistleblower protection in the future?
But for the lawsuit, an incoming director could say, hey, we need to comply with our FOIA obligations and produce this information. And I think across the administration, incoming political appointees ought to be as transparent as possible. And that came up Senator Grassley, or maybe I think even Kash Patel was asked about all these past congressional requests, and he said, we are going to get this information out as much as we can. So again, the incoming administration has every reason, I think, to want to be transparent, to share this information with the public, because it highlights all these problems that have happened in the past. So Kash Patel can ensure that the FBI complies with its FOIA obligations. It produces this information to us. It produces the type of information Congress has asked for in the past. And then, of course, then the decisions he makes at that point will help future whistleblowers to know how safe it is to blow the whistle. I helped to get the law changed in 2016 that said that you could blow the whistle to your chain of command in the FBI. And so hopefully with new leadership, FBI agents and others will feel comfortable saying, here's where the problems are. We need to fix them. And if I were the incoming administration, I would want to take those people and help them tell their story. You've been complaining about this for a long time. We're going to help you fix it, but we're also going to explain to Congress that this is a problem that others were trying to highlight in the past. So we would love to represent some of those kinds of whistleblowers because they can help an incoming administration make the case for the reforms that they want to make.
And Tristan, that brings me also to the fact with this new leadership, I know that you directly, and if people have heard you on this broadcast before, that your longstanding working relationship with both Kash Patel and with Senator Grassley. This is the roots of where Empower Oversight grew out of, was your work in the Senate fighting for whistleblower protection and oversight of the executive branch. And as we look forward, when having these confirmations and also this kind of culture shift against what the Biden administration and the executive branch and the bureaucratic state have put in place, especially over the last 4 years, how much more important is it for organizations like Empower and the ACLJ to continue the same work, knowing that a friendly group within these agencies now can help bring about that reform if we continue to shed light on it?
Yeah, it's critical. At the end of the day, the reality is that an incoming secretary, an incoming director, they only have so many, they're getting information from so many places, and they are not going to be able to communicate with every person in their agency or in their department. And the reality also is there will be mid-level managers. They're going to try and stop good progress from happening, or that will retaliate against whistleblowers. And so understanding, when I was on Capitol Hill working for Senator Grassley, we would absolutely explain this to people. Hey, you're coming in. Don't think of whistleblower as a bad word, right? These are people that know where the problems are in the agency. These are the kind of people you want to seek out. You want to find waste, fraud, and abuse. You want to drain the swamp, find these people and help them. But that doesn't mean that the mid-level managers are going to like that or are going to support that. And so groups like Empower, and ACLJ have a key role to play in helping welcome whistleblowers as they come forward, helping then inform agency leadership that otherwise someone on the, a line level employee in an agency might have a difficult time getting the attention of. We can help get that attention, and we can also help engage Congress's assistance in targeting these problems and addressing them so that we can stop the waste, fraud, and abuse and do right by the taxpayers to make sure their money is spent wisely.
Tristan, thank you so much for joining us again. Tristan Levitt, who is the president of Empower Oversight. Always good to hear from him. And again, you've heard about this now. What we're doing, we're defending whistleblowers with this new lawsuit. We just filed it yesterday with our friends over Empower. And we got to fight back. And we got to do it, but we can't do it without you. We can't engage in any of these battles without your support. So I encourage you right now, if you can, support the work of the ACLJ. There's a lot of you who are watching. Maybe you're brand new to us. I'm going to ask you, if you're brand new, if you've never seen me before, hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble or any of those outlets. If you have seen us before, if you like what we do, if you hear what we're talking about, if you hear about all the legal work we're doing, you hear it from Tristan, go to aclj.org, make a donation today, support our work. We'll become an ACLJ champion. That's a monthly donor. It's a tax-deductible gift, supports our work,